audience, as a grandfather, I'm worried about passing this province's enormous debt onto my grandchildren. What specific steps would you take to reduce the debt?
In order to reduce the debt, it requires a great deal of hard decision-making. It means that we have to spend less today and tomorrow than we did yesterday. And that's a tough decision. And that's the first decision that has to be made. If you are thinking down the road to children and grandchildren, then I think you need to look at yourself and our community. And what must we do to tighten our belts, to be able to eliminate the kind of debt that hangs over us? Right now, the third most important or most expensive file in government after health and education is servicing the debt. That's not paying any interest or any principal on it, not one penny. It's just the interest. And that's $10, $11 billion.
Peter.
Well, I'll get to other things in my rebuttal, but basically, you're being given advice about controlling the debt and the deficit from three parties that have taken the debt and the deficit from $30 billion to over $280 billion over the last 30 years when they've all been in power with majority governments. Now, what the Green Party is talking about is fundamentally changing our economic system, so it's not one where people live on debt, and it's one where the new economy isn't service industry jobs. It's based on taxing the resources that we have that we're virtually giving away. And the other broad strokes that we do, like merging the school boards, that would save $1 billion, which will cut in significantly to that $11 billion deficit that we're talking about.
Laura?
So if we're to have any hope of reducing the principal on our deficit, we have to increase revenues. We have to increase revenues. We cannot continue the liberal and conservative pattern of continuing to cut corporate taxes, which does not create jobs, does not put wealth back into our economy, deprive the province of needed revenue that is necessary to pay off debt and balance the budget. We need corporations and the wealthy to pay their fair share, put revenue into our system, and help us balance our budgets and reduce the debt. And we have an accountability problem on debt and deficit. We had the Eves government, which hid a $5.6 billion deficit from Ontarians and wouldn't even table its budget in the legislature. The Conservatives do not have a strong record on fiscal accountability in this province. We need accountability, and we need a financial accountability officer.
Laura Wood.
Well, step one is reducing the deficit, or eliminating the deficit, and Liberals are on track to do that by 2017-2018. And how you do that is by growing the economy. And that is the key step. It's not about taking people who are paying taxes out by cutting their jobs. It's about getting more people. I'm not shading you, so you need to.
Please, people, it's participation.
Okay. Let me start again. It's about growing the economy. It's not about taking jobs out of the economy. It's about not taking people out who are paying taxes and putting them on social assistance. For every job that is cut, there's a multiplier effect. So that means that people who would be cut under the Conservative plan, and whether it's by attrition or by pink slips, these are still jobs that would no longer exist under a Conservative plan. Those people are not buying food in the grocery store, they're not going out to restaurants. So the effect on the economy has a multiplier effect. So the Liberal plan is to grow the economy, to make sure that it expands, that we are introducing more businesses into Ontario, and we have the highest foreign direct investment of anywhere in North America, and that is because we're a place that where businesses want to relocate to. We have a great healthcare system, an outstanding education system, which leads to one of the most highly trained workforces.
Anybody like to rebuttal? I heard Peter.
The only way we're going to get a handle on this is to do things differently. So right now, for example, Ontario has resources. So this water that Ontario has, we sell to corporations for $3.71 per million liters. And you know what we buy it back for. So that becomes the future source of taxation to eat into debt and deficit. Because otherwise, they're just basically rearranging things at the output end instead of changing the fundamental way we have our economy, where it isn't just a one-generation liquidation sale of our natural resources, where the environment is free to pollute and it actually ups the GDP, and where the future economy is service jobs that are at non-living wages. So if you want what the other three parties have given you, I mean, the Conservatives were actually one party that leveled off the deficit when they were in, but they did things that were of short-term interest, like selling off Hydro.
Thank you.
I ran out of time, but we really do need to increase our revenue. We also need to end the scandals and the waste that we've seen in this last Liberal government. And to do that, we also need the Financial Accountability Office. Our government would implement a Ministry of Savings to look for savings. We would cut down on the use of external consultants, which costs the government a fortune, and we would control CEO salaries within the government. So we're as committed to improving our revenue base as we are to controlling spending in Ontario's NDP.
I think one thing that people have to keep in mind is that the parties who are suggesting cutting corporate taxes across the board, this has been proven time and again that it doesn't work. It increases the profits of the companies. It doesn't lead to increasing the number of employees. And it's been proven, and I think it's very interesting that they continue to flog this in their platforms. The Liberal government is looking at a $2.5 billion Jobs and Prosperity Fund, looking for companies that need money to help grow and employ more people. And there is, contrary to what my colleague to my right says, there's many strings attached, and it has to be proven that you're actually employing people. And this has been working, and that's why we're seeing more direct investment in Ontario.
The second part of our plan is a jobs plan, because of the fact that with a job, an individual has become obviously more stable in his own life. He's also an economic driver by himself as someone working. And so the jobs plan is the cornerstone of the way in which to get the economy working again. But we don't advise and we don't want to see people getting funds from the government to help their business. We want everyone to have a level playing field with the investment in infrastructure that would allow everyone to do well. That is the kind of environment, economic environment we want to see, and that will lead to paying down debt.